Today, I would like to talk about the Raphael. I am so excited to talk about Raphael. Why? Because in New York, Metropolitan Museum just accepted Raphael travel exhibition. Okay, first of all, welcome to the exhibition. This is Raphael Travel Exhibition, and as you know, Raphael has a three-stage in his art career. First, he was born in Urbino, and the first years they learned from the master, first master, and second, he went to Florence, and then finally he ended up in Rome, Vatican. Beginning of the exhibition, Raphael welcoming us. This is Raphael's first autoportrait. This exhibition make very nice three sections: Florence and Rome. In this first, we are seeing two teachers, his father Giovanni and his second father Perugino. In these sections, Perugino and Giovanni. Second, Florence. When in Florence, he make a first commission very important Baglioni family's entombment portrait. These commissions inspired and sensation in Italy and Rome. The Pope Jules II invited him to Rome. And the third final section of this exhibition is Rome section. You're gonna see so many autoportrait because the most important school of Athens on the wall fresco of Vatican in Rome. Of course, they cannot show you. But they make a super good idea. They make a projector making a 3D wall reflecting School of Athens. Beautiful idea. And now I will explain to you what I know from the School of Athens. And finally, School of Athens, masterpiece. The first one, Plato, is Leonardo da Vinci. And next to him, Aristoteles is architect Sangallo, the famous architect in the history at that era. As you see, the red is Plotinus, is Donatello, the master sculptor. And finally, Raphael is right there, the only person who is looking at us, Raphael. Next to him, best friend Sadano. And next to Sadano and Raphael, his first master Perugino. Of course, he had Perugino and Euclid, Donato Bremente, who gave the key and show him the Michelangelo's artist. And this Heraclitus, of course, look at how muscly he is the Michelangelo, the master. An exhibition finally ended up his apprentice Giulio Romano. That is the reason I am excited and I decided to talk about my first video is about art of Raphael and history of Raphael. Raphael, one of the top 3 high artists in high Renaissance. If I think about what is the 3 major character in Renaissance, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael. And in my opinion, my personal favorite is Raphael. He is a brilliant artist and he did so many good for art history and so many good for art. Full name of Raphael is Raffaello Sanzio de Urbino. He was born in Urbino. Urbino is not an ordinary city in Italy. At that era in Renaissance, Urbino is the wealthy of the art. It's like one of the centers of the art city in that era Renaissance. When I'm talking about the art, literature, sculpture, what are you thinking about the Renaissance is also very cultural, very rich city. You can think about that, well, if Florence is New York, definitely Urbino in Paris. That is very rich. It's not an ordinary stupid village. It is a very high cultural, intellectual, very rich for art, very rich for literature, very rich for everything. So this is not an ordinary city. And Raphael is very lucky. He is not an ordinary artist. His father is very well-known artist in Urbino, Giovanni Santi. He is famous, well-known, not extra high-level artist, but a good artist. And his mother also well-known wealthy merchant's daughter. So he came up to world in a very good environment. However, when he was 2, he lost his sibling. After that, father of course understood that Raphael has an extraordinary talent. He understood right away he is very into in the art, so he started to teach him the painting. So the first teacher is definitely his father Giovanni. But until 8, so when he was 8, in Giovanni's life there is a big struggle. Now he has to take care of the house without wife and without a daughter. He is all alone, earning money, try to give attention to Raphael, and he thought about that, oh, if I am giving all attention, it doesn't worth it because he need to be improved. He think about that he is not good enough to teach him. That is why he wrote a letter, one of the famous artists in Perugino. The artist's name is Perugino. That is his name because he is from Perugino. The Perugino was very famous artist in that era, and he accepted the Raphael, and he understood right away he's a brilliant student. He started to teach everything and start the foundation of Renaissance art to Raphael. Perugino immediately recognized Raphael's potential. Under his mentorship, Raphael learned the foundation of Renaissance. This is very important. So Perugino taught him everything what he needed the foundation. At the beginning, Giovanni, his father, gave him and I think influenced him how to love art. And then Perugino start give him a master art like foundation of the Renaissance, what is the most important elements in the Renaissance art, lights, color harmony, and glazing techniques. Because in Perugino's paint, there is so many glazing techniques. He used the varnish so brightly, so much, and that's why his arts explode. His famous art is lighting. One of his masterpiece, not one, all of his masterpiece, Perugino's masterpiece, super light, super bright, and everybody criticize him. Oh, Perugino, you never show the dark part of the real world. You are always bright. You are always happy. You are always in harmony. Raphael learned from Perugino the color harmony, power of the light, and varnish. Beautiful absorb. In my opinion, Raphael is like a perfect Bucalemon. He absorbed everything from his masters, but not copy. He added his technique. He improves. For example, he improves the lights from Perugino. He improves the varnish technique from Perugino. He make it laboratories and created his own varnish layers. It really improved his art or paints for the future. One of Raphael's most important element is ability of the learn, I think was extreme. Perugino understood that even he is not enough. So he told him, hey, listen, you learned everything from me. I cannot give you more than this. So you have to go to Florence. In Florence, there is a high master of artists. You need to go Florence. Florence is the Mecca of the artists in that era, Italy. And who is there? 17 years old, older than Raphael. There was a maestro. When Raphael met the Da Vinci, he understood right away Fusumato technique from the Da Vinci. Da Vinci making a Fusumato around all the human figures. So he learned Fusumato from him and used right away in his paint, which means, but I told you, Raphael always improves. Da Vinci never improved Fusumato technique instead of the humans, but Raphael make this Fusumato for every element. He make the Fusumato in the animals, he make the Fusumato with the unorganic materials, he make the Fusumato in the humans, so beautifully he is adding the Fusumato to everything, and it takes so long time. That is the only reason why Da Vinci doesn't use, but Raphael Raphael loved to spend time on his work, so he added the fusomato. And what else? He learned from Da Vinci the perspective, because in Da Vinci's art, the background is always fluid, because he examined the human anatomy so much, and he wanted to copy exactly the same thing. Before Da Vinci, the art is very not deep, just 2D. Da Vinci created 3D perspective. He copied the real human eyes. When we focus in the front line, the background will be fluid, or when we focus the background, the front artist will be fluid. Da Vinci used the background a little fluid, more realistic and more detailed. Of course, Raphael learned and improved. And in the real time, Leonardo told, he is master than me. He is brilliant and his art is way, way better than me. He told when he was alive in that era in Florence. That is why slowly by slowly, Raphael's reputation grown bigger and bigger. And one of the most important dramatic milestone in his life, also one of his commission. There was so many wars with the big families in Italy at that era. One of the biggest war is also Baglioni family. Baglioni family is very close to Florence and very well reputation, strong, big family, and they have in a big war, long war with another big family. End up this war, they killed their own son. That is the council decision. And the mother of the Baglioni family, Atalanta Baglioni, was so upset. She said, okay, now I lost my son, but I have to honor my son. We need to find the best artist in the world, and I want him to make a big painting for my son's honor. That is the reason they reached Raphael. Raphael listened to family. Raphael think about right away the best and the first commission in his life, which is Entombment of Christ. Raphael transformed a biblical story into emotional and powerful art, according what Atalanta Baglioni. Also, Raphael make honor, very good jest to Baglioni family. When you see this art, there is a woman carrying the Christ from the cross. That is Atalanta Baglioni. Atalanta carrying own son, and that son is very holy Christ. That is how beautiful, very gesture from the Raphael. You see that? Beautifully. In that era, it is very popular. People are telling the historical moments, figures, stories to the art, but using the well-known people transfer the face for well-known people. Painting become a sensation, very successful because of the biblical history. That famous rumors came to Rome, Vatican, and Pope Julius II saw the art and right away invited someone to Raphael to Vatican to give the job to paint his library. Library means very important in Vatican. Vatican library is not ordinary library. All the important meetings, all the documents, all decisions with the cardinals are making in the main room. It is like a CEO, general manager's office. That is how important task Raphael got. Julius II gave paint my library. Raphael did the most important tree painting in the art history. This decision would change Raphael's life forever, because after that Raphael never leave Vatican, because Vatican loves him and he loves Vatican. That is a big, good, happy marriage. He lived in Vatican until he died. But also Vatican is very important in his life because he met his third master, which is Michelangelo. At that era, when he came to Vatican, Michelangelo already gave the task to paint the ceiling of Sistine Chapel. But the main problem of Michelangelo, he was very arrogant and he was very jealous personality. He doesn't want to share. For example, Leonardo accepted him very early and gave everything. Michelangelo refused, and he knows Raphael loved to learn from the art. He said no one can come to Sistine Chapel. He locked the doors and he abandoned and gave the direct order, no Raphael in or out in Sistine Chapel without my notice. So that is the only, because he's scared he will learn and he will use his technique to Raphael his art. And what is Michelangelo's technique? Michelangelo's technique is anatomy. He is the master of the human body. He loves using the technique. He knows the human body so beautifully, and he used woman figures with man body or men's figures with woman's body. Maybe he is the first artist like homosexual or sexuality using the cross genders in the art. That is my opinion. He is brilliant about the using the human body, human art. Instead of mastery to apprentice relation, it's like a rivalry relations. They hate each other. Specifically, Michelangelo hate Raphael. Raphael is more neutral, but that is why there is no direct communication at all. That is not direct teaching from Michelangelo to Raphael. Michelangelo is 9 years old older than the Raphael. Raphael is so handsome, so intellectual, so beautiful personality, and he has a very mastery of the art painting. Everybody start love Raphael. That is why one day key master, which means the master architect of the Vatican, who has every single door to access, Mr. Donato Bramante. Donato Bramante was the master architect, which means he has the all keys in Vatican, of course, sister chapel. So when everybody is gone, when Michelangelo finished the day, they are coming, Raphael and Donato coming, open the doors and showing everything, and Raphael shocked, unbelievably shocked, because nobody ever shown that kind of human artistry in the world. Of course, he learned from Michelangelo, not teaching, just every night he checked, inspect Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, and he learned everything. And he make a big gesture in one of his painting. He added Michelangelo after he saw the Sistine Chapel painting. That is very honorable act. But of course, Michelangelo hate and jealous, and he said, "Oh, he learned everything from me. I am the master of the Raphael." And he ignored Da Vinci. He ignored Father Perugino. He only says, "I am his master. He learned everything from me," which is not true. He accept, as you know, the Julius II's order. The Pope ordered 3 art in his wall, and he made 3 beautiful, most famous art for Raphael. One of them is the School of Athens, the most spectacular one. The second one is Parnassus, and the third one is Disputa. So after imagine these are fresco, which is they are Raphael painting. This is in the wet wall, because in fresco technique, when you start the painting with the wet wall and when it dry, it will takes longer. So otherwise, if the wall dry and you start to paint on top of the dry wall, in the couple years in the futures, let's say decades later on, the paints are peeling. So that is why, not to make any peeling damage or stay longer, they use the fresco technique, and he did each walls about 2 to 3 years. But the Pope amazed. He said, "You are my master artist. Now we have so many rooms in the Vatican, and I want you to paint every single walls." He said, "Impossible. I don't have time for that. I am just painting one walls, just maybe 2-3 years. Imagine how many walls you have." So, but Pope says, "No, I want you. You have to do that. Wish whatever you want to wish." And he said, "Okay, then let me open an academy." So he made the first art academy school for painting. He hired 50 apprentices. No one has this amount of apprentice in that era, maybe in this time as well. He started to teach 50 students, and it's like an art academy. He is the first academy of art in Renaissance, established by Raphael, and he started painting entire wall, interior walls of the Vaticans with his apprentice, and they did a brilliant job. But also, as you see, only that 3 arts are famous, and you see the quality also. Every art expert says, "Oh, these 3 arts are way better than the others." Because why? Because the other arts are painting with or mostly from their apprentice. Then he became very famous, very popular. Vatican loves him. And Pope said, "Are you married or single?" He said, "I'm single." He has a love story in the hometown, merchant bakery's daughter, but they never married. He said, "No, I'm single." "Then you should marry with my niece." It's a Pope's niece. He cannot refuse Pope's order, and he accepted. But he played with Pope, and he made this engagement 6 years. He never married. married because he is in love, his old childhood love, the bakery's daughter. However, he cannot go back, he cannot leave Vatican, so he is a lonely, sadly platonic lover. Raphael also, he is very handsome, attractive, intellectual, famous. Unfortunately, that love affairs make his death because Raphael got some virus, I think, from the STD. So that is why he died when he was 37. When he was sick, Pope was so upset and he sent his master medicines and tell, no matter what, you have to fix him. You have to find a cure to make him healthy again. And that era in Renaissance, the best treatment was bleeding. They bleed so much. And one night, too much blood loss, Raphael died. And I am so wondering that if Raphael didn't die when he was 37, what will be happen? How the history, art history will develop? Maybe we will jump another 200 years because of his talented expertise. Because once he is ready, once he bloomed, he died unluckily. So this is so far the story that I know about Raphael. Now I will take you guys to Metropolitan Museum to see the exhibition, travel exhibition. Don't expect too much. Travel exhibition means that they cannot take, first of all, fresco, which means it is inside of the Vatican walls. No one can touch the Vatican walls. No one can take the art from there and travel. Let's see what we can see. But I am so expecting interesting, at least art history from the Raphael. I am excited. I am taking you guys to Metropolitan Museum. Let's see what's going on in there and let's see how is the exhibition. Follow me. Okay, first of all, welcome to the exhibition. This is Raphael Travel Exhibition, and as you know, Raphael has a 3-stage in his art career. First, he was born in Urbino, and the first years they learned from the master, first master, and second, he went to Florence, and then finally he ended up in Rome, Vatican. Beginning of the exhibition, Raphael welcoming us. This is Raphael's first autoportrait. This exhibition make very nice 3 sections: Florence and Rome. In this first, we are seeing 2 teachers, his father Giovanni and his second father Perugino. In these sections, Perugino and Giovanni. Second, Florence. When in Florence, he make a first commission very important Baglioni family's entombment portrait. These commissions inspired and sensation in Italy and Rome. The Pope Jules II invited him to Rome. And the third final section of this exhibition is Rome section. You're gonna see so many autoportrait because the most important school of Athens on the wall fresco of Vatican in Rome. Of course, they cannot show you. But they make a super good idea. They make a projector making a 3D wall reflecting School of Athens. Beautiful idea. And now I will explain to you what I know from the School of Athens. And finally, School of Athens, masterpiece. The first one, Plato, is Leonardo da Vinci. And next to him, Aristoteles, is architect Sangallo, the famous architect in the history at that era. As you see, the red is Plotinus, is Donatello, the master sculptor. And finally, Raphael is right there, the only person who is looking at us, Raphael. Next to him, best friend Sadano. And next to Sadano and Raphael, his first master Perugino. Of course, he had Perugino. And Euclid, Donato Bremente, who gave the key and showed him the Michelangelo's artist. And this Heraclitus, of course, look at how muscly he is the Michelangelo, the master. An exhibition finally ended up his apprentice Giulio Romano.